Welcome back to Buy or Buy. I am absolutely pumped to get into this explainer because today we are breaking down literally one of the most significant, highly coveted track weapons on the planet.
Today we're looking at the 2022 to 2024 Porsche 911 GT3, the 992.1 generation, the first GT3 to use double wishbone front suspension lifted straight from the 911 RSR race car. Naturally aspirated, 9,000 RPM, the same Flat-6 that powers the GT Cup, and one of the last new sports cars on Earth where the manual gearbox is still a no-cost option.
502 horsepower at 8,400 RPM, 6 independent throttle bodies, 6-speed manual or 7-speed PDK, rear-wheel drive, 0 turbos, 3.2 seconds 0 to 60 with PDK, 162 grand new, 200 grand used today, and climbing. Okay, let's dive right in. Section 1. Who and Cross Shop.
So, who exactly is dropping over 200 grand on a 2022 to 2024 911 GT3 today? Well, these are your absolute Porsche GT department disciples, the naturally aspirated purists. These are manual transmission diehards who have the cash to spend, and they are serious track day regulars. But here's the crazy part. To even get one of these brand new, you couldn't just stroll into a dealership with a briefcase full of cash. No way. You had to be an allocation list winner with a deeply established Porsche dealer relationship. You literally had to earn the privilege to buy this car.
Now, what's really fascinating is the cross-shop reality. Look at the absolute monsters this car goes up against. It fights its own big brother, the 992 GT3 RS, sitting between $250,000 and $320,000 with 518 horsepower and active aero. Or the mid-engine 718 Cayman GT4 RS at $180,000 to $210,000 using the exact same 4.0-liter engine. Look outside of Stuttgart, and it battles the Lamborghini Huracan Tecnica at $280,000 to $320,000, or even the Ferrari 296 GTB, which demands an insane $340,000 to $420,000. And yet, the GT3 utterly dominates the value proposition. It delivers this pure, unfiltered motorsport feedback that genuinely humiliates supercars costing hundreds of thousands of dollars more. Bottom line?
Section 2. The Gems. Every reason this machine exists. Let's geek out hard on this powertrain for a second. We're talking about a 4.0-liter naturally aspirated Flat-6 shared directly with the 911 GT3 Cup race car. It utilizes 6 independent throttle bodies for absolutely instant telepathic throttle response. It revs to a blistering 9,000 RPM redline. And let me tell you, no turbocharged engine on Earth can replicate the rigid valve train response you get here. And miraculously, Porsche kept the 6-speed manual as a no-cost option, which resulted in a staggering, almost unbelievable 70% take rate right here in the US. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive mechanical shift from the 991.2 generation. The RSR-drive double wishbone front suspension completely transforms the front-end grip. It is the defining feature of the 992.1 GT3, so good they even use it on the GT3 RS. You get a 1.9-inch wider front track compared to a standard Carrera. Braking? Handled by massive 16.06-inch front rotors tucked behind GT-specific forged center lock wheels. Then there's the aero. That iconic swan neck rear wing produces 50% more downforce than the old GT3 and a massive 150% more downforce when you set it to max attack.
So, the crucial point of all this engineering is this exact Nürburgring time set by factory driver Lars Kern. 6 minutes, 55.34 seconds. That makes this car 17.5 seconds quicker than the old GT3. You guys, it beats the last generation GT3 RS, and it even beats the $845,000 Porsche 918 Spyder hypercar around the green hell. That is just wild.
Inside the cabin, you've got optional full carbon fiber bucket seats. Apple CarPlay is standard in this gorgeous central analog tachometer that sweeps all the way to 10,000 RPM. You could even option the Weissach package for carbon fiber roof, wing, and magnesium wheels. And let's look at the financial miracle here. This car carried an original MSRP of $162,450 back in 2022. Today, it trades between $185,000 and $280,000. It is the halo of the entire 911 lineup, the very car Porsche builds to keep enthusiasts coming back, and it simply defies normal automotive depreciation. Bottom line,
Section 3. The Issues. Every known problem.
let's shift gears and look at the clinical picture of ownership costs, starting with the critical issues. First up, PDK control module failure. It's rare, but if it happens, you're looking at a $4,000 to $8,000 replacement. Next, those optional Porsche ceramic composite brakes, the PCCBs. They are phenomenal, but under extreme track abuse and heavy heat cycles, the rotors can crack. Replacing a full set of PCCB rotors and pads will exceed an eye-watering $28,000. Yep, $28,000. Also, you need to monitor your engine oil consumption. The 4.0-liter Flat-6 is designed to burn up to 1 quart per 1,000 miles, but anything exceeding that requires a serious inspection. Finally, 2022 build cars add some exhaust valve and PDK shift map glitches, but Porsche solved that with a technical service bulletin.
Moving on to moderate issues, the optional sport bucket seats suffer from carbon weave and leather bolster wear at high touch areas, mainly just because they're so hard to get in and out of. If you have the 6-speed manual, you might experience an occasional grinding when shifting from second to third gear while the car is cold, though this smooths out as the synchros break in. Now, because the car sits so low, you will absolutely scrape that aggressive front lip spoiler on driveways, and that costs $1,500 to $3,500 to replace. And whatever you do, do not let the GT-specific lightweight lithium-ion battery die. Its lifespan is short if it's off a trickle charger, and replacements run an exorbitant $800 to $1,500.
For the minor daily annoyances, the PCM 6.0 infotainment can suffer from touchscreen lag and Apple CarPlay disconnects, which usually just needs a software update. There is no Android Auto natively, by the way. You might also hear some front PASM compressor noise, and the tire pressure monitoring sensors are known to fail, costing $200 to $400 a pop. Daily livability means 13 city and 17 highway miles per gallon, mandatory 91-plus octane fuel, and insurance premiums that vary wildly from $4,000 to $8,000 a year. Finally, that lightweight aluminum hood is highly prone to paint chips, making paint protection film basically mandatory. Bottom line,
Verdict: buy. The 2022 to 2024 Porsche 911 GT3 9921 is the absolute high-water mark of the naturally aspirated Flat-6 sports car.
just look at the 2026 used market reality here. Porsche GT depreciation simply defies the laws of physics. Standard 2022 PDK cars are currently trading at $185,000 to $210,000, which is well above their original MSRP. If you want the wingless touring variants, expect to pay $200,000 to $240,000. Highly optioned YSAC cars, they command $220,000 to $280,000. And remember, finding one with the manual transmission carries a stiff 10 to 15% premium across the board.
So, here are your concrete marching orders on exactly which specific car to purchase. Buy any beautifully documented car with a full Porsche dealer service history, low track use, and strictly zero aftermarket modifications. You might even consider a high-mileage example with extensive track use, provided the engine compression and leak-down numbers are fully documented. But you need to say bye and walk away immediately from any car with missing service records. Run away from any evidence of crash damage or any car where those carbon ceramic PCCB rotors show past 60% wear, unless you've just got $28,000 burning a hole in your pocket.
This magnificent machine gives you 9,000 RPM, 6 throttle bodies, race-derived double-wishbone front suspension, a Nürburgring time of 655.34, and a manual gearbox that 70% of U.S. buyers actually check the box for. Which leaves us with one provocative thought as the internal combustion era shifts. Will we ever see a 9,000 RPM, naturally aspirated manual masterpiece quite like this again?